So we'll read Mark 9:11. And he said to them, I assure you there are some standing here that will not taste death until they see the kingdom of God come in power. After 6 days, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up on a high mountain to be by themselves alone. He transformed in front of them, and his clothes became a dazzling and extremely white, as no launderer on earth could whiten them. Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And Peter said to Jesus, Rabbi, is it good for us to be here? Let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah, because he did not know what he should say, since they were terrified. A cloud appeared overshadowing, and a voice came from the cloud, This is my beloved Son, listen to him. Then suddenly looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them except Jesus alone, the one. As they were coming down from the mountain, he ordered them to tell no one what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. They kept this word to themselves, discussing what risen from the dead meant. Then they began to question him, Why did the scribes say that Elijah must come first? Elijah does come first and restores everything, he replied. How then is it written that the Son of Man, that he must suffer many things and treated with contempt? But I tell you that Elijah really has come, and they did whatever they pleased to him, as it is written about him. And when they came to the disciples, they saw a large crowd around them, and scribes disputing with them, and all of a sudden the whole crowd saw him, and they were amazed and ran to greet him. And he asked them, What are you arguing with them about? And out of the crowd one man answered him. He said, Teacher, I brought my son to you. He has a spirit that makes him unable to speak. Wherever it seizes him, it throws him down, and he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked your disciples to drive it out, but they couldn't. He replied to them, You unbelieving generation, how long will I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring him to me. Now, do you remember when Elijah saved the widow's child? Do you remember that? Pay attention to that. So they brought him to him, and when the spirit saw him, it immediately convulsed the boy. He fell to the ground and rolled around, foaming at the mouth. And how long has this been happening to him? Jesus asked his father. From childhood, he said, and many times it has thrown him into a fire or water to destroy him. But if you can do anything, have compassion on us and help us. And Jesus said to him, If you can't, see, everything is possible to the one who believes. Guys, you have power, just as I have power, because why? We are one. That is the why. Think about it. And immediately the father of the boy cried out, I do believe, help my unbelief. When Jesus saw that a crowd was rapidly coming together, he rebuked the unclean spirit, saying to it, You mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again. Then it came out, shrieking and convulsing him. Violently, and the boy became like a corpse, so that many said, He's dead. But Jesus, taking him by the hand, raised him as he stood up. After he went into a house, his disciples asked him privately, Why couldn't we drive him out? And he told them, This kind can come out only by nothing but prayer and fasting. Did you hear that? Then they left the place and made their way through Galilee, and he did not want anyone to know it, for he was teaching his disciples and telling them, The Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of men. They will kill him. After he is killed, he will rise 3 days later. But they did not understand this statement, and they were afraid to ask him. Then they came to Capernaum, and when he was in the house, he asked them, What were you arguing about on the way? And they were silent, because on the way they had been arguing with one another about who was the greatest. Sitting down, he called the 12 and said to them, "If anyone wants to be first, he must be last of all and servant of all." And he took a child and had him standing among them. And taking him into his arms, he said to them, "Whoever welcomes one little child such as this in my name welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me does not welcome me, but him who sent me." And John said to him, "Teacher, we saw someone driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he was following us." "Do not stop him," Jesus said, "because there is no one who performed a miracle in my name who can soon afterwards speak evil of me." Did you hear that? For whoever is not against us is for us. Did you hear that? Whoever gives you a cup of water to drink because of my name, since you belong to the Messiah, I assure you, he will never lose his reward.